Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for this video. My name is Margo if you guys are new here. I predominantly do like college vlogs, travel vlogs, adventure vlogs, Boston, wherever I might be going, so subscribe if you guys want to see that. But today we have a very exciting co-op video and with my lovely friends here who are so nice to join me today. And so I'm going to introduce them, or they're going to introduce themselves, and we're going to get this started. So I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves. If you guys could just say like your name, your major, and your job title.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm an International Affairs and Human Services major, and I'm an office service assistant at a law firm in Boston.
Hi, I'm MC. I'm a Communication and Media Studies major, and I am a Multimedia Technician.
Okay, just to remind you of my title, I'm Margo. I'm an International Affairs major with minors in Poli-Sci and Psychology, and I'm also an office assistant at a law firm.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a combined business administration and math major with a concentration in finance, and I'm a financial planning and analysis co-op at a financial planning firm.
Okay, so we're gonna start off. What is the difference between a co-op and an internship? Because a lot of people ask that question, and I don't actually know if we have a great answer, but Northeastern says that there's a difference, so.
I think that the difference is that co-ops are usually paid. There are some unpaid co-ops, but the majority of them are paid. And it's in essence, you're an employee at the firm, less of an intern. You are doing a job for the company that needs to be done, and you have less of a supervisor who gives you busy work just to get to know the place. You are serving a purpose there.
I think going off of that, co-ops are also full-time. Most internships, at least in the finance world, most internships at smaller firms aren't full-time. So I work with other interns who aren't full-time, they're part-time. So I think the difference for me is really getting to know the company better because you're working there 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week.
How long is co-op on average? And I guess like we can give the timeline because this kind of differentiates like a regular internship versus a co-op.
Well, I think on average, it's, at least for right now, we all started in January and then we're going to end in June, so about like 6 months.
You can do a co-op at Northeastern for 6 or 8 months. Ours are usually during our semester, so instead of school, we kind of go on co-op, where a regular internship is usually in the summer or whenever you have free time off of school, I would say. Okay, this is a good one. Are there different co-op options you can choose from, or are they given to you?
I think this is specific to colleges. I know DeMoore McKim, so the business school at Northeastern, you can co-op anywhere. It doesn't have to be a business co-op, so you can choose to apply to any kind of co-ops that you want, but there is a platform called AnyWorks where you can filter all the co-op options and you have to apply to them. It's not like you're not handed a co-op and you're not guaranteed a co-op. You do have to apply for it like you would a regular job and interview with firms, and that process, you have whatever flexibility you want, at least for the business school. You can, my roommate, for example, is a business major, but she wants to do a healthcare co-op, and that's perfectly possible. So,
the most regulated co-ops are the STEM and IT co-ops because they're given co-op cycles. But I know MC and I are both humanities majors, and I think the best part about Northeastern is that there is a co-op class where it's everything from making your resume to writing cover letters, and you have a person assigned to help you and do mock interviews through the process and to let you know if they've been interviewing other students and you didn't get an interview or anything like that. And a lot of people have multiple co-ops reach out to them and give them offers, and you do have to choose. And you can even make your own co-op, which is really cool too. If you want to work in a place that doesn't have a co-op, you can go anywhere and do anything as long as Northeastern approves it.
How do you apply for co-op?
Yeah, there is a platform. It's AnyWorks, like Sarah said, where all of the companies that have pre-made co-ops, so they're already, you don't have to make them and go to the companies, have places for you to submit resumes and cover letters, and then they're going to reach out to you to your Northeastern email.
Okay, this is a good one because this is going to vary, I think, between all of us. When applying for co-op, how many should you apply to? Because I know you applied to a lot of co-ops.
I applied to probably 85. But again, the finance, specifically finance within business, is incredibly competitive. So
how many people reached out to you from those 85?
Not many at all.
Yeah.
It's hard to gauge kind of your status within the application sometimes.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was kind of the most stressful part because I really didn't know where I stood until I got an interview offer.
And that's where your
so-
co-op advisor comes in too, because
Yeah, that's very helpful.
you're supposed to tell them when you've gotten an interview or when you've reached out or someone's reached out to you, because they can inform other students based on that.
I think the hardest part about like the business co-ops is seeing everyone on like LinkedIn saying, I accepted a job, like I accepted an offer for this co-op that you had applied to like 2 months ago and you haven't got an answer, and you're just like, okay, well that one's crossed off the list. Like mark that red in the Excel.
That's humanities too. I know we went through that as well.
Yeah. 100%.
And you're supposed to apply to 11 by a certain time.
Oh, really?
And then the way that I know,
I was the same.
yeah, so at least in the humanities, and you can say if this is true for you too, they said to apply to 11 by the first 2 weeks of the class, and then the next week you apply to 11 more. And I'm not saying I necessarily followed that, because I too was really freaked out, and a lot of these co-ops do seem very similar, so you're like, I'll just apply to a bunch of this type of co-op. But I'm also grateful I applied to a lot more than I was told to, because I only had about 4 places reach out.
Yeah, I never had, I'm in CAMD, but I never had a like set number that I had to apply to at like any moment in time. But my co-op advisor was really good, where there was a point where I was kind of like, oh, not a lot of places are reaching out, I'm not sure. And she was able to give me other like job like postings on any works that I hadn't seen, because sometimes with the media ones it's hard to find them and like to filter them out, especially since a lot of them are in like New York and California, and I knew for the first co-op that I wanted to stay in Boston. So she was really good being able to tell me all these different job postings that I hadn't seen that had just been posted, because they're also posted at different times, like during the semester, not always like by a certain date, which is like a little tricky to try to like figure that out and see when the ones are posting. So she was really good with that, and one of the ones that she had told me to apply to at that moment is the one that I have right now. So I'm forever grateful.
I think that also brings up another good point, that it's really tricky to search in the NU Work system, because you can search legal internship, and it might not be called that, it might be called legal services assistant, and it doesn't show you that. So you really have to be constantly checking the portal. I know I was on it every single day, and you need to try a bunch of different keywords and combinations.
Are you limited to co-ops in Boston, or can you apply beyond Boston? You can go on a global co-op if you want, but there are a lot of locations in the United States. So you can go to California, New York, DC,
Virginia, a lot of Virginia.
So you're not limited to Boston, but there's a lot of options in Boston. Northeastern just has really good connections with.
And they also do housing out. Northeastern's really good about making sure that you'll find housing outside, even if you're looking for housing in Boston but not Northeastern housing. They provide that, and they also provide campus resources. And there are other places to get these resources too for other places.
Right. Okay, speaking of housing, where do you live on co-op?
Well, I live in my dorm, but I'm considering moving off campus, but it's a whole situation.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard. It's so hard to put down like an entire year lease.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, like for example, for me, I don't know where my second co-op is going to be. So I can't say starting September 1st, I can sign for a year-long lease and risk having a co-op in New York, and then I have to live in New York for 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
we're actually like we're sort of in the middle of the process of that, and that's an entirely different Northeastern experience video that we could talk about for hours. Housing is probably one of the banes of a Northeastern student's existence. It's really easy for the first 2 years because you live on campus pretty much in lovely dorms like this, but then you're kind of expected to move off campus, and that's where it becomes really, really difficult.
Speaking of housing, I want to talk to you guys about an awesome student accommodation service that I think you should definitely check out. Their service is super easy, top-notch, and their housing is literally amazing. I have to show y'all. This platform is called Amber, and they are operational in more than 100 cities across Europe, Australia, and the United States, with more than 20,000 listings on their platform, so they have a lot of options. So if you go to their website, amberstudent.com, you can find any accommodation through them effortlessly by just searching for your city or college. And just to note, I love how easy it is to find low to high budget options and really search for what I'm interested in. This is definitely a great option for students who are a little unsure about off-campus accommodations, especially if you're in a new city, in a new country, if you're an international student. So if you do want to book with Amber, I have a link in my description you guys can use to start your process. Definitely check them out. They make life so much easier. Okay, this is another good one. Is it better to do 1, 2, or 3 co-ops? Or what is the I guess normal range, I guess. I would say 2 co-ops is most people. I don't know if any of you guys are planning to do 3.
I'm not planning on doing 3. I do know a lot of people who do 1 and then a study abroad. And there are people here who don't even do co-ops. It's not technically required. It's just what people come to the university for, because they do have the 5 pillars of learning, community service, who I've never met someone who was taking up that pillar, and I've never heard of that program. Study abroad does them. I personally am not going to do 3.
I'm also not.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in the business school do. If they don't get co-ops that they want the first or the second time, they will stick around for that 3rd co-op at a prestigious firm if they want to. I personally don't plan on doing that. I'm graduating early, so that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know a lot of people in the business school will consider 3 co-ops.
Or if you don't get an offer from your second co-op, which a lot of people do, to join full-time at the firm. I know at my co-op there are some Northeastern students who graduated and work there full-time now. So if you don't get that, you could do a 3rd co-op and hope for an offer from them.
Mm-hmm. I guess this kind of was answered earlier, but is there anyone to help us prepare for co-op?
Yeah, you have your co-op advisor. So you have your co-op, I call it like the co-op prep class. It depends on what college you're in, but it's pretty much structured the same way from the people that I've talked to. It's a class, you build your resume, you work with peer mentors to make sure that your resume is okay, you have mock interviews that you can do, and you have your main co-op advisor who is the main person that you communicate with in order to get information about your co-ops or how to interview. For example, I was interviewing at a company and it was a technical interview, so Excel that I wasn't necessarily proficient in, so I could go to her and I could say, what do I need to know for the technical part of the interview, and she was able to help me with that and tell me and give me resources to learn the information that I needed for that interview. So
humanities don't need to do technical interviews. For all of the humanities watchers freaking out, because I know MC and I did not do a single technical interview, and we had STEM friends freaking out about their
it's STEM and business that do technical interviews. I think
there's also something to be said, and this could just be my personal experience, that your parents are going to try to freak you out. I know at least my parents were a member of the Northeastern parents page, which if you're watching, tell them to get out of, because that is just where they send you the most insane experiences that someone has posted that their kid went through, not the norm, and then they say this could happen to you if you don't make your own co-op right now, or if you don't apply to 70 more co-ops, and you just have to turn your phone off and not listen, because I made the mistake of asking my co-op advisor one of my mom's questions, and I almost got laughed out of the room. So just don't do it.
In general, your co-op advisor is your support system, though. If you need it, they're very flexible in terms of timing and meeting with you.
Yeah.
Do you still have time for fun on co-op?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I
have so much free time.
So much free time. I get home at 5 and I'm done for the day.
Me too.
I don't have any work, and it's nice.
I do choose to misuse that time. I just stay in my room and sit on my bed or lay on my couch. Anyone who's more exciting than me can totally go out.
Yeah.
Especially the weekends, because you don't have homework to do on the weekends. So you have a great time on the weekends.
See, and I don't want to go back to school.
No, I love it. I love being on co-op without classes.
My roommate Heather and I, so Heather is on a co-op at Brigham Women's Research Lab. And she's super smart. I'm shouting you out, Heather. You deserve the hype. But sometimes her and I came back our first 2 weeks and we're like, oh, we're so tired for after 9 to 5. So I think that's the one thing that I'm still tired during school. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very tired. But I think it's more of a physical I can't wait to lie down.
It would have been 9:40 on co-ops.
Yeah.
9 o'clock hits and I'm like, yes, it's time for bed.
I think you just have to adjust.
Oh yeah.
I was like that the first 2 weeks, but now I'm like, okay, getting out of co-op, let's go to the gym, let's go do something.
Oh no. That's very impressive.
Maybe not that ambitious.
That is not a universal experience.
Yeah, but it's not like I want to go home and sleep at 5 o'clock.
No,
anymore.
I do.
You definitely
really do.
Two conflicting opinions.
I think it depends on the co-op. It definitely depends on the co-op, which we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
But
it's the commute also. It's
the commute.
I know Margo and I have talked about this so much. The commute kills me.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend all of my money on Uber because when 4:30 hits, which is when I get out, I'm like, I will not get on the Orange Line.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Orange Line is really just if you don't get on time. There was a full week the Orange Line was delayed.
Yeah.
And Hannah would text me because she gets out a little bit earlier than I do. she would text me and she'd be like, don't take the orange line, so I'm immediately going to the green. And so like I'm very lucky, but then Hannah has to sit through that. Like,
well, MC texts me.
Oh
Yeah,
perfect.
so
it's really
like a chain
MC
reaction. You're welcome.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
source
starts
is
with
right
me.
here. What does a typical day look like on co-op? And so I guess we can go like a few things for each person.
Okay, I can go. I wake up around 7:20 maybe, and then I rush and get on the train, and then I'm the first one in at my office because I have another there's actually a few co-ops who work at my firm, but I do have another one that does a very relatively similar job to me, so I get in an hour earlier than her. And I pretty much answer emails. I'm in a very support role, so I do a lot, and I'm working with attorneys and their legal secretaries, so I'm doing a lot of work for them, printing, copying, scanning, very like office service assistant. And then I have an hour-long break for lunch, and then work throughout the afternoon, come home, make dinner, and go to sleep, honestly.
I also wake up around 7, and then I get on the train to be there around at 8:30. I have to be there, and I work at another college, so one of the main things I do for them is I film some of their classes so that we can post them onto like the Canvas and like their Panopto pages, so that the students with COVID or students who couldn't make it to class can watch those recordings. So that's one of the main things I do. And then also in the office, I answer some of the phones, and we put in tickets for people who want classes to be filmed, or they also do some special events. Like the other week, a guest speaker came, and then I helped live stream that so that other people could watch it online, which was really fun and interesting to learn about. So I do things like that. Different support things. If something's not working, I'll go with somebody to try to fix it, like projectors, things like that, things with computers. Yeah, and I also have an hour for lunch, which is really fun. Lots of different food truck options that I like to enjoy. Anyway, but yeah, so that's basically my day. And then I also come back on the train. The way back is always longer for some reason, but I get out at 4:30, so then I can get back around like 5:30, and yeah, then I make dinner, watch TV, also go to bed. A little boring at the afternoon, yeah. But
I basically have the exact same thing as Hannah. I get up at 7, prepare myself. If you want to check out my actual routine, there is a video on my channel. Check it out. But yeah, I get on the orange line, go to work. I'm mostly a mail clerk, I would say. I do a lot of the mail for the attorneys, and so I'm sorting, logging, scanning, and then I obviously help with everything else. I file a lot of papers as well, which is really helpful to learn about what each document is and the relation to the client. And yeah, I get out at 5, take the train home, and then I just will edit, watch a movie, light a candle. I don't know. There's so much I could do, but that's basically my night. So
I usually get into the office around 8, so I'm up at 6. My commute is like just over an hour, so it's not horrible, but it's also not optimal. But I usually get into the office, take the first 2 hours, answer emails, make sure things get done from the day before if they weren't done. And then a lot of what I do is updating client information in order to make sure everything is set for advisor meetings later on in the day. So that's kind of a lot of what I do, a lot of work with Excel. I don't know, kind of like your basic finance stuff. And then I'm usually get out around 4, sometimes a little bit later, depending on how heavy the workflow is. And I'm usually home around 5:30.
these questions come from people like on my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
and they just
your
like comment,
fans.
and I was just like, I'll just
Margo.
Alright, y'all, after spending some time editing the video, Hannah, Sarah, and MC gave so much good information that I'm splitting this video into 2 parts. So this is the first video. If you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe, because the second video is even better, and it's just, they give such good information. So yeah, stay tuned for that video, and thank you so much for watching this one.